Wow! Stars and stripes, 2 for 2. Welcome to this explainer, everybody. Today we're breaking down a massive, literally game-changing result for the U.S. men's national team right on home soil at Lumen Field in Seattle. We are talking about a totally clinical 2-0 victory over Australia in Group D of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. I gotta tell you, I'm absolutely buzzing to get into this one with you, because we aren't just looking at a team squeezing out a lucky result. No, we're looking at a fundamental shift in how this team operates on the global stage.
So, let's just dive right in. This is starting to look like more than just a good World Cup run. This might be a statement. Now, let that sink in for just a second. You know, when you're playing a World Cup on home turf, the pressure is just astronomical. It's immense. But what we saw out there in Seattle, that wasn't a team crumbling under the weight of expectations. It was a team defining them. So we're going to figure out exactly how the USMNT turned a highly anticipated matchup into a definitive, undeniable statement to the rest of the world.
Section 1, a statement on home soil. Dissecting the 2-0 victory. Let's get into it.
To truly understand the sheer magnitude of this win, we got to look at the concrete events on the pitch. Just notice the pacing of the U.S. attack here. Right out of the gate, 11th minute, the USA strikes first. That's a crucial early goal that immediately puts Australia on the back foot, totally forcing them out of whatever defensive shape they had planned to just sit in. Then, right when Australia is desperate to get to the locker room and regroup, boom, 43rd minute, the USA doubles the lead right before the half. Suddenly, it's 2-0, and the Socceroos are chasing a game they simply have no answer for. Well, you can see how that frustration manifested by the 90th minute. It got a little chippy late. The match actually saw 7 yellow cards in total, and get this, 3 of those came right in the final minute of stoppage time as frustrations absolutely boiled over.
Okay, moving to Section 2, dissecting the dominance, the numbers behind the win.
So how exactly did the U.S. suffocate a notoriously resilient Australian side? Well, check out this possession breakdown. USA with 63%, Australia with 37%. In soccer, and especially at the World Cup level, 63% possession isn't just an advantage, it is a complete stranglehold. They outshot Australia 8-5 as well. The US didn't just win a couple of lucky moments or rely on quick counterattacks. No, they completely controlled the entire rhythm of the match. The Australians essentially spent the night chasing the ball instead of playing with it.
Which brings us to a beautifully brutal juxtaposition. Australia committed 16 fouls but only managed 2 shots on target. Now, I'm no mathematician, but generally speaking, if your game plan is to actually win a soccer match, you really want those 2 numbers flipped. You kind of have to laugh a little bit at the sheer frustration this shows, because it perfectly sums up Australia's night. They were so outmatched technically that they had to resort to pure physicality, committing 16 fouls while only managing to test the U.S. goalkeeper twice. It's a real testament to a highly organized, totally unbothered U.S. defense.
So the absolutely crucial point here is understanding the how behind those numbers. Our analysts highlighted 3 key takeaways. Number 1, the relentless press. The tactical setup worked perfectly because the press just never allowed Australia to settle into possession. Number 2, mature game management. Guys, this is huge. Up 2-0 at the half, the old U.S. teams might have just sat back, parked the bus, and hung on for dear life, inviting pressure. Not this squad. They kept their structure and professionally managed the game. And number 3, full squad depth. The coaching staff made 5 substitutions to manage fatigue, and that bench came in and cleanly closed the game out. This wasn't just 1 or 2 star players carrying the whole team on their backs. It was a comprehensive 26-man roster effort.
Section 3, the contender evolution, shifting the global narrative. This 2-0 win fits into a massive global storyline. Plus 6,000. Going into this tournament, sportsbooks actually had the U.S. men's national team as plus 6,000 long shots to win it all. So if you were skeptical of this team before the tournament started, trust me, your skepticism was entirely validated by the rest of the world. Outside the locker room, absolutely nobody was picking this team to make a deep run. But now, we might literally be watching a 2-decade-long underdog curse breaking in real time.
Let's just compare the eras for a second. For decades, we lived in the underdog era. The absolute ceiling for this program was the round of 16, and they'd only reached that height exactly once, way back in 2002. But right now, we have officially entered the contender era. 2 games in, and the tone has completely changed. They opened with a dominant 4-1 win over Paraguay, and now they've added this clean, controlled 2-0 win over an Australian team that many thought would just physically bully them. That's 2 wins, 6 points, an incredible goal difference, and the USA has already climbed into the World Cup's top 10 power rankings. Unreal.
So what is actually driving this shift? Like, why is this team so different? Well, first off, this is the most talented roster the program has ever assembled. We aren't talking about guys who are fringe pieces overseas. These are players who have spent years as everyday starters at major European clubs. Second, the coaching has really raised the floor. They've instilled an aggressive, possession-based identity that actually allows this world-class talent to show up on the scoreboard, not just on paper. And third, we can't ignore the elephant in the room: home field advantage. Playing this World Cup at home means the crowd, the travel, the comfort, and the scheduling, it all tilts heavily in their favor.
All right, Section 4. What comes next? The group stage finale. The U.S. has put themselves in a phenomenal position, but the job is not completely done yet. Mark your calendars for June 26th. The USA closes out group play against Turkey. The math here is incredibly simple and, honestly, incredibly exciting. A win or even a draw against Turkey likely seals the top spot in Group D. And doing that, it gives them the most favorable path possible for a knockout run, the exact kind of deep tournament run this program has been chasing for over 20 years.
Which leaves us with this final, really important question to ponder. Are we just looking at a good group stage, or are we looking at a true contender? Now, healthy skepticism is always fair, right? American soccer fans have certainly had their hopes dashed before. But looking at the sheer dominance we just broke down, that underdog tag is getting awfully hard to justify. This team isn't just hoping to be competitive against the world's best anymore. They're starting to look like they step onto the pitch expecting to win. The underdog story isn't entirely gone yet, but folks, it is definitely starting to read like a contender's origin chapter. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will see you right back here after the Turkey match to see just how high this ceiling goes.